Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandrago's Cave. Today we are going to be talking about swords in One Piece, okay? Specifically Yoru, that is Mihawk's sword. So the last video about One Piece I've done is one of those where I talk about the latest information from the One Piece manga, that's 1189. This week there is no episode, so I think it's good if we theorize about some things connecting to that specific video, that specific theory. I'm gonna put the video here if you wanna watch it. Obviously, because I'm gonna be talking about things up to date with the manga. If you are not up to date with the manga and you don't want to be spoiled, just go to the main section in the channel and find another video that is a little bit older, okay? Or in another topic, okay? So for now, we have this area more or less to work, okay? So I am gonna be trying to draw the sword more or less like we done in that other video, okay? From one of the original designs from the manga, that the sword is in perspective, okay? Like this, and is bending. A little bit similar to what we done with Summer's sword, okay? So, I believe Yoru is one of the 20 swords belonging to the 20 kings, the 20 swords that Imu has in the throne, the 20 swords that Imu is now basically summoning from the distance and being able to use with this dark magic, okay? So, if you think about where we are in the One Piece world at the moment, okay? We are going into the endgame. We are going into the final saga soon, after Elbaf, or after a mini saga after Elbaf, probably something like that. We are gonna go into the final saga where Luffy needs to achieve what he wants to achieve, the rest of the Straw Hats as well. And it's time to blend all the storylines. We have had stories like Zoro's story with the swords, with defeating Mihawk, with, you know, Kuina as well, and the promise, with as well Tashigi and wanting to collect swords and everything, that all those plot lines were abandoned basically in the middle of the story basically. So what I'm proposing here is if Yoru, that is this one, Mihawk's sword, is one of the 20, okay? And the storyline can blend in a way that if Zoro manages to defeat Mihawk, manages to, let's say, break this sword, Imu will lose one life. I'm saying, and I'm gonna even do like we've done in the previous drawing, I'm gonna do a little bit of fire like here, that it is cursed as well. What I propose in that other theory is that basically, because there are 20 swords, what we need to do is to defeat Imu 20 times. So while one sword is being broken, basically, we will have a little bit of less life in Imu. Think about this like a video game boss, okay, like a final boss. Think about this as well like Harry Potter and the Horcruxes, that you need to destroy those Horcruxes before you are able to give the final blow to the enemy, to defeat the enemy, okay? In that case Voldemort, in this case Imu, okay? So, I wanna know your thoughts. In the YouTube channel, this video, it started ranking up quite fast. I wasn't expecting that, so it has become, I think, the third or the fourth most watched video in the whole channel. That's very nice. Thanks everyone for being there, you know, and interested in the theories. Me, as a fan of, you know, 30 years of One Piece, I want to see connection. I want to see how the world building is already blending and showing me the ending of the story. Okay, yes, I want One Piece to finish in many, many years, like never, basically, but we need to see an end. We need to see a end point here, okay? So, important thing is there's been a lot of theories. Internet is plagued of theories regarding Mihawk, if Mihawk is gonna be connected to Imu, if he is gonna be a son of Imu, if he is gonna be a God's Knight, if he is gonna be many things, okay? Obviously, because this character is Zoro's endgame, okay, Zoro wants to defeat Mihawk to be able to become the greatest swordsman in the world. We need to connect the story, okay? So, Zoro defeating Mihawk, apart from that, it doesn't give anything else. But if we make Yoru part of these cursed, magic, mythological swords, we will add Zoro's participation to the destruction of the world government, to the destruction of Imu, to the destruction of the enemy. Because at the moment, Mihawk is not enemy. Mihawk is his sensei, basically. He has been training with him for a couple of years, so there is no in my opinion, there is no rivalry there anymore. I believe 100% that Mihawk has already been surpassed by Zoro in the time skip, and that's how he lost one eye. I think Mihawk has nothing else to show to Zoro, and I'm gonna put my Mihawk theory here as well, so you can understand the prospect of all of this, okay? I personally do not want Zoro fighting Mihawk. I want Zoro fighting another character. In this case, it's gonna be, in my opinion, Vista from the Whitebeard crew that is disappeared completely from the map, and that guy, I think, is gonna end up having the diamond fruit. He's gonna end up having a very strong haki to cover all his body like Virgo, and Zoro is gonna have to cut this guy using Nito Ryu, because that guy is using 2 swords, plus the diamond, plus the defeating of Mihawk, plus the concept of being covered in haki. That would be, in my opinion, how you can max Zoro. But just to be loyal, you can watch that theory, but just to be loyal in what we are proposing here, basically, the concept of Yoru, the style of Yoru, the design of Yoru that we see in these weapons that are coming now is pretty similar, okay? So when creating a storytelling, you need to create some rules, and the rules in One Piece are like everything, you know? If the sword is looking like another sword, maybe there is a connection there. Most likely there is a connection there. So all of these new swords that we have seen, you know, Longinus and Barararak and everything, so all of them have these kind of patterns inside here, okay, like Yoru has as well. They have this elegant style as well. Could be the possibility that Mihawk, yes, it is one of the God's Knights, but maybe he has such a strong haki as well that is not bound so much like the others, that he has a little bit more of freedom, basically. Even if he's not the boss, he may be like special operations like CP9, but for the God's Knights, but he's bound to Imu as well. Maybe he has more freedom in that aspect, and the sword is part of this kind of let's say video game, let's say, okay? So let's do, we have the design more or less. I want to start with 0.3 doing all the details. I'm gonna go for the design from the manga, as I said at the beginning, with the red decorations here. These look like emeralds or sapphires or something, some sort of a stone that he has here. So I just want to make sure that we do here, and it has like a plating inside to support, to hold the blade, okay, like this. Very, very nice type of sword. I love it. I love Mihawk at the beginning when he is interacting with the East Blue saga, let's say, when we see him fighting Don Krieg crew, destroying, decimating all of them, and then with the whole story with Zoro as well, with the training as well. I absolutely love it. So I want to know more of this character. We cannot give everything out yet, okay? We need to give the information to the reader. If you think that you're gonna be Oda, you need to give the information to the reader by rounds, okay? And this is the round of the swords because randomly, unexpectedly, Oda decided to interact with this. who have other swords that may be bound, or other weapons that may be bound to this kind of curse as well. Some of the Gorosei, we have as well one of the members that it has the, like the Kitetsu as well. Like you remember that Zoro has the Sandai Kitetsu. San is number 3 in Japanese. Sandai is 3rd generation Kitetsu. So probably, most likely, the Gorosei that it's looking like a swordsman has the 1st generation of Kitetsu, okay, and at some point maybe we need to defeat that sword as well. My theory of the video game concept as well, if you are a gamer like me, you will see how when you are fighting a boss, you need to go at it multiple times, okay? You think that, oh, the enemy is defeated, but oh no, then he's reviving again, and some other kind of magical power is happening and he's reviving again. Why is this important in this One Piece concept, in this world building? I do not want Luffy defeating Imu, and that's it. Even if the story is about Luffy. Originally, when we are introduced to the concept of world government in One Piece, the concept of Gorosei, the concept of the Reverie and everything, what happens there? What happens is that we have an interaction where Cobra is asking too many questions to the Gorosei, and Imu decides to show up, okay? For everyone's shock. We didn't know, Gorosei didn't know the character is gonna be that, he's gonna be doing that, or Cobra didn't know, so that is absolutely crazy. So what happens there is that, for one reason or another, the Revolutionary Army, Sabo, is there, okay? And Sabo goes there to save Cobra. He has an interaction with the Gorosei, there is flames, there is a little bit of fighting, and then he managed to escape. Imu has mentioned in 1189, Sabo has mentioned Ace as well, so Imu is aware of this character. So the thing is, I would prefer the Revolutionary Army to fight Imu and the Gorosei and the world government, okay? The whole dragon story is flying around the concept of, oh, careful, the God's Knights are there. We need to be very mindful of the God's Knights. They are too strong. Okay. So Oda focuses the energy of the God's Knights towards Dragon. Okay. Dragon is the one who is gonna take that line. In this storyline, in this world building that is One Piece. Okay. So, in my mind, what I really want is for Dragon to fight Imu, to Sabo to fight Imu. When this happens, it's gonna be at the end of the story as well, but Sabo already started a fight with Imu, okay? Then let's stop this 1 second and let's jump into another storyline for a second, okay? Regarding Imu. Now, here in Elbaf, we are given the God Valley flashback, okay, with Roger, with Whitebeard, with someone very strong called Rox. Rox is Rox Dichevek, okay? Basically, this is family with Blackbeard, okay? Marshall the Teach, that changed his name and took the name of the mother and everything, okay? So, the concept here is funny, because if there is a promise there, by Rox saying to Imu, I will come back basically to defeat you, to eliminate you, to remove you from power, and we see there is some sort of clue giving us the impression that Blackbeard is kind of following that pattern, is following those wishes, okay, of the father. So, what I want to see as well is how Blackbeard defeats Imu. Okay? No? It makes sense, no? So what's happening here? At the moment, me, as a reader, as a hardcore fan of One Piece, since the very beginning, basically, I have one final boss, that is Imu, but I don't know who is gonna be the enemy. I want Sabo, I want Dragon, I want Blackbeard to fight that enemy. But those guys are not the main character, okay? So now in Elbaf we are introduced to another line where Luffy is facing Imu, you know, clashing a little bit with Imu, because we need to create as well a fight where Luffy is able to defeat Imu, okay? Because Luffy is the main character, okay? So, important thing here is other side things that are happening at the same time. Imu, because whatever happened in the past, in connection with the Nefertari family, that I'm gonna put my theory here about Bibi. Imu wants Bibi. Bibi is being wanted now, so she has a price for her head. Basically, everyone, the God's Knights, everyone in top power, top level tier in the world government are gonna go and try to find her, basically. At the moment, we know that she is with Morgans in the ship, is escaping, okay? And we know as well that she needs to reunite with Luffy and the crew. She needs to become a Straw Hat again, because she's always been a Straw Hat. I consider her a Straw Hat, but she needs to meet them. I think she is connected to the ancient weapons, that I'm gonna put my theory here. I think she's gonna be in the final battle, in the endgame battle as well, with Luffy. And everything is connecting to Elbaf, basically, okay? This love story or friendship story of whatever happened with Nerona Imu and the predecessor, the ancestor of Bibi, that is Nefertari, Lily. We will see what happens there, but there is some sort of love story or something there. So, there is character of Bibi, that Bibi could give as well a defeat to Imu, even if Bibi is not at a fighting level, able to defeat a strong character like this. Bibi stopped fighting, let's say, when we were in Arabasta. She could fight some of those guys there from Baroque Works, yes, but don't give her a giant, don't give her a Gyojin, don't give her a God's Knight, because it is impossible. She doesn't have that power level to fight, to defeat, to entangle into that power concept, basically, okay? So, that's why she has Nakamas as well, that Zoro could represent Bibi in this fight, Luffy could represent Bibi in this fight, okay? So, presenting this scenario where there are multiple characters, top-tier characters in the main story, okay? These are pirates, Jonkos, these are revolutionary bosses, okay? And these are kingdoms, like Bibi in this case. We want all of them to have a go at Imu. We want all of them to defeat Imu. With this concept that we have been introduced now with the swords, if my theory from last week about 20 swords equal 20 Imu lives, means that all of them can give it a go. All of them can fight different characters, and by defeating these different characters that are representing Imu, okay, we are gonna be able to see how Imu's power is decreasing for maybe later, at the very end of the story, if this storyline is gonna go towards, yes, Luffy is gonna defeat Imu, we will see how Luffy is gonna give the final punch, basically, okay? Or, I would prefer this going towards Sabo. Sabo, as a brother of the main character, as a very strong character, could have that importance in the story because the revolution. Because I think as well there may be a connection with Sabo and Bibi there, because the saving of the father and the concept of, you know, main character vibes as well. So I would love to see something like that, okay? I want to talk about possibilities, about, you know, we are theorizing here about possibilities. So, if, let's say, if we are in the One Piece world, our swordsman is Zoro, okay? Zoro wants to defeat Mihawk. I think, maybe, unconsciously, the power that these swords are holding, it could be even transferable, okay? Let's say that Zoro with Wado Ichimonji is breaking this one, Yoru. And let's assume that Yoru is one of the 20, and it is as well cursed, and it is controlled by Imu, okay? So, we see how maybe the concept of the Black Blade is connected to this, okay? Is Black Blade a blade so strong that is as well being able to be covered with haki? is the darkness of these flames, okay? Are these flames sentient as well? Are the flames possessing? Because it may be very well as well that this is not Imu's power. It may be that Imu, as a, let's say, Hitonomi model Satan, that I'm going to put my theory about that here as well, has done a covenant, a pact, let's say, with the devil fruit, with the Akuma no Mi, main Akuma no Mi, let's say, or with even with the tree, okay, with the Eve tree, probably producing the fruits originally. If there is a covenant there, a darkness covenant, it is called Akuma no Mi, devil fruit. Is not an angel, is not a god, is the devil. So it makes sense that there is some sort of darkness around this whole concept, okay? So if we are playing with that card as well, we can then think about the concept of the flames being sentient, the flames being the ones that are giving the power. Why are they able to move around? Why are they flowing from the swords? Are they possessing the sword? And when you are breaking these, the flames, like in a Studio Ghibli movie, they can fly around or maybe try to escape and you can capture them maybe, or capture a sample maybe. It could be as well. At some point, I think Vegapunk had to have one of these samples to create the fruit that now we have Stussy having, this kind of vampiric type of fruit, okay, that I have a theory about that as well, explaining how this character Stussy is a foreshadowing of Imu all along, and that happened to be right. We were right in there, and yeah, and we have that in the story now. So I like the world of One Piece a lot. In all the worlds, like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, for example, you need to create some rules, okay? In Harry Potter you have the magic and how the magic works, and you have as well steps to break that magic and to make you stronger, like the Horcruxes, okay? Here in One Piece we have the concept of the fruits, but now introducing this darkness, we don't know where that's gonna lead, or that is gonna lead us, okay? So it is difficult. I see this may create a little bit of rejection from the reader, where in a world where we are already set on a type of power, okay, the Akuma no Mi is giving me power, and now we have the Haki as well, but now what is this darkness, okay? It needs to be an explanation for that. I think that if the 20 kings made a covenant with the devil, Imu being one of them, there is a corruption there, there is a evilness there that maybe was present in this moment. We play obviously with the concept of the gods, okay, because he's coming from the sun god, from the rain god, from the forest god, from all these characters, okay. So this magic can come from one of these gods that we don't know yet, okay. It could be Imu very well, but the concept is that there is, like we have the sun god, there is as well darkness god, okay, or let's say shadows god. I don't think it's Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard is fruit, but we need to go into that realm as well in another video. So the thing is, the power could be coming from the swords. The swords contained a specific level of this darkness that is bound to Imu, okay, and Imu was granted the power of main body. Okay, being able to control all these swords, being able to give these swords to other characters. Let's say at the moment we have Saint Summers having one of the swords, and then we have Saint Killingham having another one of the swords. Okay, so if this theory is right, what is going to happen next is you will have Zoro fighting and Sanji fighting as well. These two guys will need to defeat the God's Knights, these two God's Knights, and by defeating them, maybe Imu is weakened, okay? So we know Imu is sick somehow from the past, maybe, as I explained in previous theories about the concept of the vessel, maybe that's why Imu wants Bibi to change body, like the Ope Ope, okay? All the story with Doflamingo about wanting the Ope Ope, I don't think is because the immortal surgery. I think what Doflamingo wanted to do is like take someone like Law into Marijoa, go and meet Imu, and then swap the hearts, like we see in Punk Hazard that Nami, Sanji, Chopper, Frankie, all of these guys, they swap the hearts. I think this is what happened originally. I think when we see the feminine look, the shadow look of Imu, when it's revealed, it's gonna be Nefertari di Lily. It's gonna be looking like that. That is the container, and the Imu form that we are seeing now, this demon form, is basically the god shape, basically, okay? Maybe we are gonna see Luffy as well, the sun god transformation, in this way, like more like a monster than actually like a person, okay? And detached from the humanity, basically, okay, not caring about the humanity. So I find this very interesting. But the key for this, the key for the swords is, the key for defeating Imu, in my opinion, is to weaken Imu by destroying all the swords. Tashigi and the Smoker for their storyline, because Tashigi wants to collect all the swords from the bad guys. They could defeat one. I love a Smoker. I miss a Smoker. I want a Smoker to do things. Smoker is very strong. That storyline could lead us to someone breaking one or two swords on that side. Blackbeard could try to face Imu and be stopped by Shamrock, for example, and then Blackbeard have to fight Shamrock or another character from the God's Knights using one of these weapons and defeat that character. So they are gatekeeping the bad guy. So let's say Blackbeard is going to defeat another character, break another weapon, and then Imu is weakened again. Dragon, we want Dragon to fight. We want Dragon to have the big reveal. We want Sabo as well to fight. So how is Oda going to give us all of that information? Is Dragon going to be fighting a random, nameless God's Knight now and the story is done? It cannot be. It cannot be. Storytelling's sake, it cannot be. I see that Sabo is taking more and more power from the revolutionary image, let's say, he's having more marketing, let's say, but at the same time, I want to see them destroying some of these weapons as well, okay? I want other characters that we are not mentioning here, that could be bad guys now, but they may assist here, destroying some weapons as well, okay? Like Akainu is a bad guy, but Akainu is now being aware more and more of, oh, the Gorosei is giving instructions that I am not liking it, you know, and I have to be like a dog here. And I don't know, there is a superior being, another boss above them. I'm being tricked. And Akainu is very proud. Akainu could fight and defeat one of these bad guys, or one of the Gorosei. We don't have matches for the Gorosei. Are they gonna be all of them wiped by one same character, let's say Blackbeard? Or we're gonna have fights for them where they can be just removed quick, without much of a fight, because we are not that invested in having them all do individual fights, to be honest. The Gorosei, we have seen them all fighting together now, and to be honest, I don't wanna see much of them fighting now that we have Imu, now that we have, you know, Shamrock and we have Garling and all of these guys. I prefer to see all of this, okay? So, there are many fights, many fronts there. We are not even talking about Buggy. We are not even talking about Mihawk that is here as well, that he could defeat as well some of his own guys, if this Yoru theory happens to be true, and he belongs to that same organization and he's playing pirate, okay? It could be as well. It could be that he needs to defeat someone, okay? There is this kind of background where Mihawk is always, you know, Shanks and me, we have this background of fighting and blah, blah, blah. And when he came back from the East Blue without the arm, I didn't want to fight him anymore. At that time, Shanks was a God Knight. Because he was a God's Knight for a little bit, okay? Before granting him full power that was granted to Harold, but before granting him the next level of the mark, he was part of them, and that's why he ripped his arm with Luffy, that's why he disconnected everything. He always had a plan to try to defeat Imu, but it was the right time to do that when he was younger? No. Okay? So I think Mihawk is so strong that he's connected to Shanks. Okay? I think Mihawk is working for or with Shanks, doesn't matter, and there is a possibility like Shanks couldn't do what Mihawk is doing. Mihawk is like, I'm so strong that I'm able to resist sometimes when Imu wants to remote connect to my brain, okay, and control me, and he's more sentient, let's say, okay. Shanks couldn't do that. Shanks had to cut his arm, basically, okay? We need to put a ceiling to some of the characters, and Mihawk is one of the top characters. I still believe Mihawk will not be defeated by Zoro. This will be a disappointment for many characters, many fans of One Piece, specifically from Zoro fans, because a lot of people have been waiting for this for many years. But I think all of this is going to happen in a Davy back fight, that I have a theory as well about the Davy back fight while I'm drawing Usopp. And I think what's going to happen there is basically that Vista is going to reveal himself as having this super strong haki like Virgo and Pika, and having as well the Nito Ryu style that is a perfect match for Zoro, and having the revelation that he's the #1 of the Blackbeard pirates, okay? If let's say Nito Ryu, in that case, Nito Ryu from Vista happens and defeats Mihawk, it could very well happen, okay? To showcase that not only the main character can defeat the enemy, okay? That other characters that we don't know, like in this case, like I'm gonna put, for example, Rock's Pirates crew as example, okay? Someone like Whitebeard could fight, someone like Rocks could fight, someone like Shiki could fight, you see? All of these characters are super strong, and we wanna see them all fighting, okay? One of the things I miss, and I say here all the time, is Oda, please give us individual fights again, like in CP9, like in the Tower of Justice. I want to see the characters, I want to see our guys fighting one-on-one and defeating all the enemies. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen as detailed. We had a little bit in Wano, but it doesn't happen as detailed. Why? It may very well be because he is waiting to do something like this. He's waiting to do it in a big scale, okay? Something big, something tremendously big. And, Aokiji as well is a character as well that he could give another final blow to the enemy. Like, we want to see a lot of our guys, a lot of our main characters doing this kind of cleansing of the world, eliminating the bad guys. They don't need to be in the same location, okay? Now Zoro can take care of Summers, Killingham can be defeated by Sanji. In another end, you can have another God's Knights, Manmeyer family, God's Knights, whatever, being defeated by Tashigi and Smoker, for example. To collect one of the swords, even if it is broken, for Tashigi's collection, so you are blending all the storylines, okay? Cross Guild with Buggy needs to be at the end of the story, a way of connecting them, to bringing them as well, if Yoru with Mihawk, they are part of this mix as well. So they are dragging them towards that point as well in the story, okay? So I think it is not too crazy. I would say if this is gonna happen, I wouldn't see it as out of the blue, okay? I'm a fan of One Piece for many years, and when I've seen something that it made no sense for me, like the Jin, for example, transformation, Oda ended up making it in a way that it makes sense, okay? Later. So it makes sense for me that now, for a couple of years, for a couple of months, we have the setup, the introduction of what is Imu and how powerful Imu is. Imu cannot be physically defeated here. In Elbaf, Imu, I am waiting for the moment where Gunko is gonna wake up as Princess Shuri, is gonna try to save Brook, and maybe hug Imu and teleport both of them back to Pangea, to Marejua, so they can save Luffy, save everyone, get rid of them. By doing this, the range that we may have with powers in One Piece, as it has been explained through Buggy's fruit, may disconnect the darkness power that has been granted to Summers and Killingham, making them normal again without the flames around their back. And then because of this, we may have Zoro and Sanji do one of those double panels where they kick the characters in the same page and they defeat the characters at the same time. I think that's what's gonna happen. I am not much invested in Zoro versus Summers and Killingham versus Sanji. Okay, I am not much invested in those fights. I just want them to be defeated quick because they have been defeated already. Okay, so if we count and we assume that Yoru is one of the 20 swords belonging to one of the kings, okay, that Imu is able to give to one of the families, to one of the members of his team, let's say, of bad guys, in this case is Imu, it could be very interesting because it's giving a blend of storylines. The swords and the whole story with the coarse swords, with the which, because this is a first grade sword, this is a graded blade, the Yoru one, okay? This is a bladed weapon, famous blade. And this is basically an explanation of the level of power. There is not many swords that have been pointed. If this is gonna be Seiju Wasamono, it's gonna be a Ryuo Wasamono, or it's gonna be a Wasamono type of sword, okay? Depending on the type of sword that you have in One Piece, that obviously it is not binding specifically the concept to swords literally. It could be a spear, it could be an axe, as we have seen with Imu in this latest episode. But we know, because it is confirmed, that, you know, the Saijo or Wasamono, that these are the 12 supreme graded swords, Yoru is one of them, okay? Are all of those 12 swords bound to Imu? Maybe, we don't know. We don't have a closed list of this. We have some guesses. Whitebeard spear should be there as well. On Rock's sword should be there as well, but we don't know exactly how the grading is in a clean way, okay? And on top of that, the cursed ones are not even mentioned in this Zoro swordsmanship concept of you know, this table, okay? So we know that Zoro's swords as well are graded. We have Wado Ichimonji, okay? Wado Ichimonji belongs to one level lower, the Owasamono, where we have 21 of them. That we have the Emma, the sister sword as well is there, and we have as well, you know, all these other swords from other characters that are listed there. So it is interesting. I like the possibilities. I like the possibilities in the concept of swords. It is absolutely unexpected for me. I wasn't thinking about this much, okay? Let's do this in yellow, and we'll do this in black. I was thinking more about, we're just gonna disappear and that's it. I like the introduction of the swords in the mix, because this is lore. That's my favorite thing in One Piece, is the lore, basically. When you are creating a story, when you are watching Lord of the Rings, yes, you want to know the main story with what's happening with Frodo, but you want to know where is Aragorn at the same time fighting, who is he fighting, or what is Gandalf doing in this other end, because this. You want to see what's happening in the world, okay? So I think in One Piece we have this beautifully designed, okay, and it makes sense for me that the stories start to blend. Okay, we have stories like the All Blue, that the way of blending the All Blue is that the red line is artificial. When we destroy it at the end of the story, we will have All Blue. All the seas are connected. Grand Line, you know, the East Blue, the West Blue, the North Blue, the South Blue, all of them are in one place. At the moment, there may be only one specific place there, and that's why no one found it, because it's in a specific point that we need to break, probably where Pangea, where the castle is. So we can destroy that and have Sanji's dream as well connected there. There are all of these storylines, specifically our main characters. These are the 5 Straw Hats. You know, we have Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, Nami, and Luffy. At least those stories need to converge. Nami storyline is already heading there. When we destroy the whole world, we will see the map created. And then we introduce Nico Robin as well there, because the revelation of the past, the 900 years ago, the reading of the poneglyphs, okay? That Frankie enters there with the concept of ancient weapons, with the concept of building the Sunny, with the concept of sailing the world. And then we have Jinbei coming in there as well, like the concept of having the Gyojins unified with the rest of the world, okay? We need to see Chopper, how is he gonna cure all the sickness of the world as well, okay? And then Usopp becoming a brave warrior of the seas. We need to see all of those things, okay? I am now curious. I am now very, very curious to see how all of these things are gonna happen in the short time that we have, because I think now we reach the point of the fourth year. Like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I think it was when Oda said, oh, I think in 5 years' time we are done, we are finished. And we are in the 4th year now. It is completely impossible to finish One Piece in 1 year, okay? Because if you think about how many weeks we have, how many times Oda is taking a break, now more regularly, because he's trying to fit all the pieces of the puzzle together. So we that here sitting waiting for him, we don't spoil things, or we don't try to say, oh, you know, you're missing this, you're missing that. He's trying to make everything fit in there. Just with simple characters like Don Krieg, for example. Don Krieg, a couple of episodes ago, was seen in Pirate Island, basically. Like, why are you showing Don Krieg? So how was Don Krieg able to go there? It's like to refresh pre-time skip concepts and to make you remember things that we forgot. Like, oh, everything that happened with Don Krieg. That, funnily enough, connects with Yoru, because he, you know, this sword is the one who was splitting in half of his ships at that point, who defeated him and everything there, and who made him retreat to the East Blue to find shelter, basically, and to try to find a lock for navigation on the Grand Line. So a character like that, to be able to actually reach the end sea, that is the new world, it is crazy. It is crazy. So all the stories, all the characters, all the swords are gonna start to have their own reason to be. There is nothing new that needs to be invented. You need to go looking backwards now. Is there a sword that could be connected to this? There is a Ryu Owasamono, or there is a Saijo Owasamono, or there is a Owasamono type of sword that we need to put it in the graded section from the past. Oda is gonna pick Gold Roger's sword, Rayleigh's sword, is gonna pick, you know, as well Rock's sword, Whitebeard. So all of the characters that we have seen, it is like the fruits, okay? The fruits at the beginning in One Piece, whoever had a fruit was very rare, no? I never heard of fruits. And at some point, because we are talking about fighting on the sea, traveling, adventures, etc., nowadays everyone has a fruit. Everyone has a fruit because you reach one part of the world where the world has become a little bit more open and you can find everything. So probably all the weapons that you are seeing around with all the users like Big Mom, Whitebeard, you know, Gold Roger, Rayleigh, Scopper Gavan, all of those are graded swords, okay? Some of those swords may be belonging to Imu's Covenant. This one it has potential because the storyline. If it wasn't gonna be connected to Imu, we wouldn't have seen now Imu using all these swords. Maybe if Imu wants to use Yoru, he could summon Yoru, and Mihawk doesn't have a sword for that period of time, or he only has a shadow, like with Gecko Moria, a shadow of the sword, okay? Not powerful enough, or not corporeal, it doesn't have a body, it's just like a shadow, literally. That could be interesting as well. So we need to see an image of the throne to see if the swords are still, you know, in there, in front of the throne, or no, when they are summoned as well. It could be very interesting. I can guarantee that by the end of this saga, by the moment where Imu is gonna have to be forced back into Pangea, at least one of the swords is gonna be broken, and at least that, let's say that Imu has 10 of 10 power, well no, 20 actually, because there are 20 swords, she's gonna be at 19, okay? There are some swords that she may be able to revive or take. Let's say that for a moment Zoro is fighting and one of his swords is touched by Imu, and maybe the essence of Imu, these black flames, these sentient black flames that I think they are giving the power to Imu as well, this is the demon within the power, they kind of eat around the Wado Ichimonji, and maybe they make it black with flames, and Zoro can't control that sword. It's out of his level, for example. It's only bowing to Imu, for example. That could be interesting as well. But I like the concept of blending the storylines now. Now is the time to do that. Now is the time to see how Oda is going to give us a finale. The finale where, yes, Luffy needs to achieve whatever he wants to achieve, yes, but how about Zoro? What about Sanji? What about all of these guys? Yes, as well, Oda is focusing more, as you can see, because the swords in Zoro and Luffy. Yes, that's obvious. I think because the pressure from the community, from the One Piece fans about Sanji, and the placing of Sanji next to Zoro as, you know, the wings of the Pirate King, I think Oda, I can see this from a very long time now, is trying to force more power-ups into Sanji, so Sanji can keep up, and nothing bad about it, but it's gonna be interesting to see how Sanji develops the power from now on, because it has been hinted, the Conqueror's Haki, where Sanji hasn't been doing actions to awaken this kind of power, at least from my side of things, for what I can see. So I want to know your opinion about the swords theory. I want to know your opinion about Yoru, if you think this is a sword belonging to the 20, and if Imu could be connected, or Mihawk is actually working for Imu. He looks like a very independent character, apart from whatever dealings he's doing with the Cross Guild, but he looks like an uncontrollable type of character that maybe is too strong even for Imu to be controlled. There must be characters like they are chosen ones, no? Like at that time you had Rocks. Rocks was impossible to stop. Garp and Roger had to join forces to fight him. Okay, that's a character impossible to stop. The only one who could stop that character, the only character at the same power level there, was Harold, King Harold. They were clashing, all of them. Okay, there's always tiers of characters. Maybe there is a big gap between Rocks and Roger. Okay, so maybe Mihawk is at that level as well. Okay, Mihawk is at that Rocks or King Harold level. That's why straight away after becoming the concept of Yonko and everything with Buggy and everything, the wanted poster, the reward catapulted, and you know, basically the reason of them being Yonko is because his level of power, basically. So Mihawk is a top tier endgame character that I believe is gonna be defeated before we expect. It's gonna be defeated by one of the bad guys, and I think it's gonna be in connection with with Blackbeard. Okay, so I put all the theories there. Feel free to check about any kind of Vista, Shiryu, Mihawk, Zoro theory I may have, because in all of them I kind of hint of these kind of changes. And Zoro's feeling of not being able to do anything, because this happens, for example, in a Davy back fight, and what I am gonna do. But the power being transferred to someone like Vista. Vista not being, let's say, skillful enough in his mind. His will is not strong enough, and maybe he's even powered by this darkness that no one can control. And, you know, Zoro has to be the one who defeats him, because he's a very strong character with a lot of power-ups, but on top of that, his mind is out of control, or he is being controlled by Imu, okay? Like we have seen as well in the flashback, where we have King Harald, when we have Gunko and everything, we have the Gorosei in these mini flashbacks where Imu is on top of them, kind of controlling them, okay? Like a marionette, like a little bit like Doflamingo. So it could be very well that the characters, when we are fighting the characters, Dragon is fighting one, Sabo is fighting another one, Smoker is fighting another one, Aokiji is fighting another one, Zoro is fighting another one, Luffy is fighting another, Usopp is fighting another one. We see how Imu is riding them all on top like a shadow, controlling them like a marionette, and we need to weaken that bad guy, that final boss. So when all of them have done their part, and then Luffy, let's say, or I would prefer Dragon or someone in the Revolutionaries to give the final blow to Imu, okay? Or even Bibi. And afterwards, let's not forget, this is a pirate manga. And then we go into pirating. We go into fighting Blackbeard. We go into see what's going to happen with Buggy. We see what's going to happen with Crocodile. We see what's going to happen with our guys, okay? After defeating Imu. Now, Elbaf, Saga, introduction of the swords, then the tree falls because we destroy the tree, and then we fall on Pangea, on the castle, and we keep fighting the final war there. Blackbeard must be there already, Shanks might be on his way there as well. Shanks, I believe, will be defeated before he's able to do his plan by Blackbeard, and Blackbeard will carry on the wheel of Shanks in defeating Imu, because the end goal is the same. But there is a lot of story there as well. I have plenty of theories as well about Shanks, about Shamrock, about Blackbeard. Feel free to check them all here in the channel, because I can't pin them all here. But the swords are now here paramount. Surprisingly, in the middle of the scene. Surprisingly, in the middle of this whole plot that we are having with One Piece, okay? So, I think we finished for today, so let's sign, okay? I hope the theory was kind of okay to understand, because there is a lot of little things connecting to this, but let's do signature here. This is DavidViadel23, DavidViadel23. You can say that you want, and this is the Mandrago's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope you enjoyed the drawing, and think about it. Put some comments in the comment section down below. Let's open conversation to see if the sword is one of the 20 or is not, and how, if it is, how this can connect to the main story with Zoro, okay? Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!